So today I'd like to talk about how to begin a watercolor painting. There's an apple orchard not too far from the house, and this is the scene depicting the apple orchard. We've got a nice big cloud here, or big puffy clouds, and some farm machinery. So I'd like to take you through how to begin a painting like this. Traditionally, you want to start with the sky and then work your way down when you start a watercolor painting, just laying down the initial wash. But there are many different ways to start a painting, but we're just going to take the traditional path of starting a watercolor painting.
I like to begin by wetting the paper with my trusty spray bottle. And then I'll take a 1.5 inch flat brush and spread the water out nice and evenly. So I'll paint the sky here wet and wet. And grab a little cobalt blue here. I'm trying to not stay in one spot for too long, even though it looks like I'm brushing the page rather slowly, but I am trying to move along from side to side to avoid the dreaded cauliflower. And while the paper's still wet, we can get away with going back into it from time to time. But we don't want to overdo it. And I'm depicting where that big puffy cloud will be. A little violet with ultramarine blue here to paint the bottom of the cloud, really the underside of the cloud, which will be the darkest. And now I'm going through and blending the paint, sort of creating I'd like to think of it as if I'm drawing with a pencil. It's like a shading effect. Looks like a disaster so far, but trust me, it will work out in the end. I'm going back through and trying to soften some of the edges to make the clouds appear nice and puffy. I think the sky is good enough for now. We'll leave it at that. Time to move on to painting the field. Now switching to a 1 inch flat brush. I'm taking little Hooker's Green and Raw Sienna. And I'm just sort of working my way down, just painting. There's no real technique here. I'm just painting the field like I would paint anything else, like the side of a house. Not worried about any kind of details when I'm painting the initial wash. I'm just really concerned with covering up the white paper so that we can start to understand what needs to be painted next. This initial wash is probably my favorite part of painting any watercolor because there's really no fuss involved. You're just covering the paper and moving right along. Using the side of my brush here to depict a row of apple trees. Grab a little raw sienna and use that to paint the dirt road. Again, no special technique here, just working my way down, painting it like I would paint the side of a house. And there we go, we've got the painting pretty much laid out. We're ready for the next part. In the next video, we'll look at painting objects and shadows.